High Court of Jharkhand, Madam Amandeep Kaur Chauhan, His Lordship's daughters Miss Tarana Chauhan and Miss Amanat Chauhan, and Sri Gurdev Singh, father-in-law of His Lordship, Sri Charandeep Singh Bindra, brother-in-law of His Lordship, Mrs. Manmeet Bindra, sister-in-law of His Lordship, sister and brother judges, Sri Rajiv Ranjan, Learned Advocate General, Sri Prashant Pallav, Learned Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Ritu Kumar, President, Advocate Association, Sri Rajendra Krishna, Chairman, Jharkhand State Bar Council, Learned Senior Advocates, Learned Members of the Bar, Learned Registrar General and Members of Registry, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. It is with a deep sense of reverence, gratitude, and restrained emotion that I speak today on an occasion which is both solemn and celebratory. The farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice Tarlok Singh Chauhan, Chief Justice of High Court of Jharkhand, upon his demitting the office. A farewell, particularly in judicial life, is never merely an ending. It is a pause, one that invites reflection on the journey of a judge who has not only interpreted the law but has lived it, enriched it, and strengthened the institution through quiet resolve, constitutional fidelity, and intellectual rigor. Honorable the Chief Justice's judicial journey stands as a testament to the highest tradition of the Indian judiciary from the early days of his elevation to the bench. Through years of service across jurisdictions and finally as the Chief Justice of this court, his career has been marked by unwavering independence, meticulous legal reasoning, institutional discipline, and deep sensitivity to human consequences of judicial decisions. Born on 9/1/1964 in Tehsil Rohru in the picturesque state of Himachal Pradesh, His Lordship did his schooling from Bishop Cotton School, Simla, and graduated with honors from DAV College, Chandigarh, and thereafter obtained degree in law from Punjab University, Chandigarh. Enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Himachal Pradesh in 1989, started practice in Himachal Pradesh in all branches of law before he was elevated as a judge of the Himachal Pradesh High Court in February 2014. And since then, he has become one of the most respected names in the judicial circles, both within and beyond the state. His Lordship has always embodied the classical judicial philosophy that law is not an abstraction but a living instrument meant to serve justice in real lives. He assumed office at a time when the judiciary across the nation was navigating complex challenges, mounting arrears, evolving constitutional questions, technological transition, and rising public expectations. His response was calm, methodical, and principled. Under his leadership, the judicial administration was strengthened with transparent roster management, case flow management received renewed focus, infrastructure development and digitization were pursued with balance, and above all, judicial discipline and collegiality flourished. He led not thorough assertion, but through example and attribute that all that commands not compliance but respect. Throughout his distinguished career as a judge, his Lordship has delivered numerous landmark judgments on various jurisdictions, leaving an indelible impact on Indian legal landscape, which have immensely contributed towards the growth of procedural and substantive law. Honorable the Chief Justice's tenure at the High Court of Jharkhand is marked by several authoritative and reported pronouncements. His Lordship has consistently delivered judgments that have upheld the rights of individuals, protected the interest of the marginalized, and promoted social justice. In court on its own motion versus State of Jharkhand and others, in a PIL concerning the deterioration of water bodies like Ranchi Lake, Bada Talab, the High Court under His Lordship's ordered officials including secretaries and municipal authorities to remove encroachments from the catchment area and convert them into no entry zones to to protect water resources and prevent environmental harm. In a PIL, Syamanand Pandey versus State of Jharkhand and others, WPPIL number 5169 of 2023 against the illegal bovine meat sales and unregulated butcher shops, the High Court, in a bench led by Honorable the Chief Justice, directed the DGP and Food Commissioner to file affidavits detailing action taken, reflecting judicial efforts to enforce food safety laws. Recently, the division bench of this court, led by Honorable the Chief Justice in the case of Messrs. Pali Hill Breweries Private Limited versus State of Jharkhand and others, WPT number 232. of 2021 has struck have also made significant contributions to social justice, transparency in governance, and environmental protection. In a widely appreciated ruling in the case of Kundal Las Loh Udyog versus State of Himachal Pradesh, His Lordship struck down certain clauses of the Himachal Pradesh industrial policy, which had effectively denied promised incentives to the industries. The judgment invoked the doctrine of promissory estoppel, reminding the state that governance must be accountable and consistent, that governments too are bound by their word. This ruling has had far-reaching implications in reinforcing faith in the policy integrity for investors and industrialists. In the case of Kesoram and others versus State of Himachal Pradesh and others, CWP number 149 of 2025, while appreciating the issue of land acquisition, His Lordship has held that the state cannot treat all landowners the same, as doing so denies poor landowners in rural areas fair compensation, which defeats the main objective of the right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation, and resettlement Act number 2013. But the Lordship's contribution goes beyond the courtroom. His enduring contribution to the juvenile justice reform and technology-enabled court administration spans both at Simla and at the High Court of Jharkhand. While serving at the High Court of Himachal Pradesh at Simla, His Lordship was deeply associated with initiatives aimed at strengthening the working of juvenile justice boards and child welfare committees, ensuring strict adherence to the principle of rehabilitation, child-friendly procedures, and statutory safeguards under the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act. These concerns traveled with him to Jharkhand, where, as Chief Justice, he continued to accord high priority to juvenile justice administration by monitoring compliance, sensitizing judicial officers, and reinforcing institutional mechanisms for protection of children's rights. In the domain of judicial technology, His Lordship actively contributed to the objectives of E-Courts Committee, both at Simla and Jharkhand, championing the effective adoption of digitization, virtual hearings, e-filing, case information systems, and technological capacity building of the judiciary. His consistent approach at both places reflected a clear vision that the justice delivery system must remain accessible, human, and technologically progressive without compromising procedural fairness or constitutional values. We have all witnessed firsthand your Lordship's keen intellect, your clarity in interpreting the law, and your unwavering dedication to upholding constitutional values. But beyond the courtroom, what has truly endeared you to all of us is your humility, your accessibility, and the quiet strength with which you carried the mantle of responsibility. Having had the privilege of sharing the bench with Honorable the Chief Justice, I can say without hesitation that His Lordship's relationship with his brother judges has always been marked by mutual respect, openness of mind, and exemplary collegiality. In conferences, on the bench, and in administrative deliberations, His Lordship consistently encouraged free and frank exchange of views, respecting differing perspectives while guiding discussions with the quiet authority and constitutional clarity. His leadership never overshadowed individuality. Rather, it fostered confidence and harmony within the court. Such leadership not only enhances judicial decision making but leaves behind a culture of trust and cooperation that endures beyond tenure. A special mention must also be made of the historic manner in which the Honorable the Chief Justice led the Silver Jubilee celebration of the High Court of Jharkhand, an event that will remain etched in the institutional memory of this court. Under his able and visionary leadership, the celebrations were conducted with exceptional dignity and meticulous planning reflecting the statute of institution. The occasion was graced by the presence of honorable judges of the Supreme Court of India, Chief Justices of various High Courts, and several former Chief Justices and judges of the High Court of Jharkhand, making it a rare and momentous judicial congregation. During these celebrations, the foundation stone for a new Birsa Munda auditorium was laid, symbolizing investment in court's future, and a judicial museum was inaugurated, preserving the rich legacy and evolution of the judiciary in this state. In addition thereto, for the first time, the Jharkhand High Court has come out with its own logo, which was also inaugurated in the aforesaid function. These initiatives not only honored the past but also demonstrated Honorable the Chief Justice's commitment to strengthening the institutional identity and heritage of the High Court of Jharkhand. Under the Lordship's visionary leadership, Crèche Day Care Center within the High Court premises has been established in order to provide a safe, nurturing, and stimulating environment for children, thereby enabling parents working in the High Court to perform their professional duties with peace of mind. Further, the common room for female advocates and senior advocate lounge has also been made under his Lordship's leadership. Taking into consideration the well-being of the minor girl, his Lordship's inspected Prem Ashray, a home for minor girls in Ranchi, and has instructed the District Child Protection Officer to act with the compassion and avoid delays in restoration processes. And further, the Secretary, DALSA, has been directed to form a team of female officers to interact individually with each girl and ensure necessary follow-up action. As Chief Justice, he encouraged dialogue, nurtured younger judges, and maintained the dignity of the office with quiet grace. No judge's legacy is complete without the respect of bar, and his Lordship enjoys that respect in abundance. Members of the bar have found in him patience in hearing, courtesy in court conduct, firmness without discourtesy, and appreciation for preparation and candor. His courtroom was a place where advocacy was valued, not hurried, a quality increasingly precious in our times. While today we honor the judge, we must also acknowledge the human being. His Lordship has carried the burden of judicial office with dignity, balance, and humility. His courtesy to staff, concern for registry officers, and warmth in personal interactions reveal a character rooted in kindness and respect. Behind the formidable intellect stands a person of simplicity, discipline, and moral clarity. Honorable the Chief Justice, your tenure here has been marked by dignity, discipline, and a deep commitment to justice. You have led this institution not only with the wisdom and clarity, but also with compassion and a vision for the future. Honorable the Chief Justice, institution endure not merely thorough buildings or statistics, but through values transmitted by leadership. By that measure, your legacy in the High Court of Jharkhand will remain enduring. While concluding my word, I would like to say that the Honorable the Chief Justice will forever be remembered for his eminence and excellence as a judge of this court. He shall be in our hearts as a member of our family. I assure that even in the midst of his new inning, he would always be eager to lend his helping hand whenever this institution requires his services. On behalf of the entire legal fraternity of this court, we express our heartfelt gratitude for your guidance, your leadership, and your immense contribution to the judiciary. You carry with you our best wishes, our admiration, and our respect. You leave behind a strengthened institutional conventions, enriched jurisprudence, and a culture of measured, principled adjudication. These are legacies that do not retire. On behalf of my brother and sister judges and the entire judicial fraternity, I express our deepest gratitude for your distinguished service as you step into a new phase of life, freed from daily judicial responsibilities. We hope and trust that your wisdom will continue to guide, inspire, and illuminate the path of justice in ways beyond the courtroom. May your superannuation be filled with good health, peace, intellectual fulfillment, and the satisfaction of having served with the Constitution with honor. Honorable the Chief Justice, you leave office today, but your contribution will remain firmly etched in the institutional memory of this court. I wish you every happiness in years ahead. Thank you.
Now may I request Mrs. Ritu Kumar, President Advocate Association, to commence her address.
My lords, Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Shri Tarlok Singh Chauhan, Mrs. Amandeep Kaur Chauhan, his two lovely daughters, namely Miss Tarana and Miss Amanat, his family members and friends, and other companion honorable judges of the High Court of Jharkhand at Ranchi, learned Advocate General, Standing Council, State of Jharkhand, the learned Chairman, Jharkhand State Bar Council, Additional Solicitor General, Central Government, learned senior advocates, members of the registry, all learned members of the Advocate Association, and everyone present here. Today, with a profound sense of respect, gratitude, and emotion, we assemble to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice Tarlok Singh Chauhan, the Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court of Jharkhand, as he superannuates after an illustrious and exemplary judicial career spanning more than 3 decades. Born on 9 January 1964 in Tehsil Rohru, his lordships completed his entire schooling from Bishop Cotton School, Shimla, graduated with honors from DAV College, Chandigarh, and thereafter obtained a degree of law from Punjab University, Chandigarh. In the year 1989, his lordship was enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Himachal Pradesh and joined the chamber of late Lala Chabil Das Advocate, where he imbibed the finest traditions of the bar. Prior to elevation, his lordship served as standing counsel cum legal advisor to the Himachal Pradesh State Electricity Board Limited and Himachal Pradesh State Civil Supplies Corporation. As a member of bar, his lordship was deeply committed to social justice and legal aid. He remained actively associated with legal aid programs and was appointed as amicus curiae in several matters of immense public importance. These included cases relating to violations of environmental laws by hydel projects and ropeways, ban on plastic tobacco products, and implementation of solid waste management projects, and framing of road construction policy in Himachal Pradesh. His lordship was elevated as an additional judge of the High Court of Himachal Pradesh on 23rd February 2014. Thereafter, his lordship took oath as a permanent judge on 30th November 2014. His lordship served as the chairperson of the Juvenile Justice Committee, High Court of Himachal Pradesh from 5/5/2014 to 7/8/2023. During this extensive tenure, his lordship undertook transformative initiatives for the welfare of children residing in Bal and Balika ashrams, inmates of mental health and rehabilitation hospitals, and residents of old age homes across Himachal Pradesh. Notably, his lordship was among the 3 High Court judges from India to participate in the International Learning Exchange Program in Romania in May 2019. As the head of Computer and E-Courts Committee of the High Court of Himachal Pradesh, his lordship spearheaded extensive digitization initiatives. With an extraordinary record of judicial productivity, his lordship has disposed of more than 73,000 cases, delivering several landmark judgments characterized by clarity, balance, and constitutional fidelity. On 14 July 2025, His Lordship was appointed as the Chief Justice of High Court of Jharkhand and took oath on 23 July 2025. Though His Lordship's tenure in Jharkhand has been brief, but it has been impactful. The bars shall ever remain grateful to your Lordship for the lasting and thoughtful contributions made towards the welfare of its members. Under your Lordship's leadership, long-felt needs of a bar were addressed. The establishment of a crèche, a dedicated lounge for senior advocates with washroom facilities, and a separate launch for the lady advocates with washroom facilities has greatly enhanced not only convenience but also dignity and inclusivity within the High Court premises. Equally noteworthy is the roster framed by your Lordship, which kept the bar always on its toes and professionally engaged. Cases were listed in a regular, systematic, and transparent manner, ensuring efficient utilization of court time and instilling a renewed sense of discipline and preparedness among the advocates. Your Lordship contribution to the grand celebration of the Silver Jubilee, the 25th anniversary of Jharkhand High Court, deserves a special mention. The event was not merely a celebration of time, but a celebration of the institutional journey, its constitutional values, and its future aspirations. Under your Lordship's guidance, the occasion was commemorative with grace, vision, and institutional pride, leaving behind memories that will remain etched in the history of this court. On behalf of the bar and all stakeholders of the justice delivery system, we express our deepest gratitude to Honorable the Chief Justice for his invaluable service to the judiciary and the nation. We wish His Lordship robust health, peace, and fulfillment in the years to come. May His Lordship's legacy continue to inspire generations of judges, lawyers, and citizens alike. And your Lordship part with us today. We pause for a moment and fondly cherish and memories throughout the timeless words of Robert Burns. We too who have paddled in the stream from mornings until night, the seas between us roared and swelled since the days of old odd long sign. For odd long sign, my dear, for odd long sign, we will drink a cup of kindness, yet for the sake of odd long sign, with utmost respect, Your Lordship.
Now I request Sri Rajendra Krishna, Chairman, Jharkhand State Bar Council, to commence his address.
Honorable Mr. Justice Tarlok Singh Chauhan, Chief Justice of Jharkhand High Court, Honorable Companion Judges of Jharkhand High Court, respected, in fact I say most respected spouses of Honorable Chief Justice and all Honorable Judges sitting in this august gathering, the respected relatives and the respected friends of my Lord the Chief Justice, and none other than the beautiful and the lovely daughters of my lords present in this august gathering. The honorable members
balanced and human approach. He was appointed as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Jharkhand in July 2025 and took oath of office on 23rd July 25, bringing with him a rich legacy of judicial experience and institutional vision. Though his lordship's tenure in Jharkhand was short in duration, it was deep in impact, rich in values, and lasting in influence. A judge is not only expected to decide disputes placed before the court, a judge is also expected to remain alert to injustice that affects society at large. As Chief Justice, His Lordship beautifully fulfilled both the roles. His Lordship showed exceptional sensitivity in taking suo motu cognizance of matters involving public welfare, social justice, environmental concerns, and issues affecting the lives of ordinary citizens. These actions reflected a judicial conscience that could not remain silent when public interest demanded attention. And I, in particular, had the privilege to appear in most of the suo motu cognizance cases before your lordships. And what note hit my mind, in one of the cases when my lords had interfered in a suo motu case, when an ambulance was prevented from reaching the hospital because of traffic jam. We had missed that news as an incidental, just as sundry news, and almost, but the human approach of my lords, by taking it as a suo motu, to see that such incidents don't happen would had a very profound impact on me, to see that what small things matters to my lords. Another incident was an incident of a child in Ranchi and another in Chaibasa getting, while blood transfusion, getting infected by AIDS. That also triggered, however ambitious claim we have of governance, it all fell flat, and the civility and everything, the entire edifice of a civil society collapsed. It had left an indelible mark on me. And lords, I assure your lordship that we had undertaken a lot of efforts so that these incidents never at all happen in future. Such sensitivity is not merely a function of office. It is a reflection of character. His lordships constantly reminded us that the High Court is not only a forum for adjudication, but also a guardian of constitutional values and a voice for those who may otherwise go unheard. His approach combined firmness with compassion, authority, and with empathy. In the courtroom, His Lordship was known for patience, clarity, and balance. Lawyers were heard with respect. Arguments were at length and considered with an open mind. Decisions reflected careful thought and fairness. His conduct strengthened faith in the judicial process. I recall, my lords, in one of the cases, in my rejoinder, I had practically argued the entire case over and over again. My lords just smiled. But lords, we do take liberties, such kind of liberties, and my lord's indulgence, lords, we will always remember. A judge is expected to be fearless yet restrained, firm yet humane, independent yet deeply responsible. His lordships exemplified these qualities in letter and spirit. He remained untouched by pressure, uninfluenced by popularity, and guided only by law and conscience. We would recall momentous incidents happening in Jharkhand during my lord's tenure, when we celebrated 25 years of our High Court. A very grand celebration we will all remember for all time. My lords also participated and inaugurated the flagship scheme of the government of Jharkhand of inaugurating the Bar Bhavan for every district in Khunti. We will all remember, my lords, and my lords' memories will be ever etched in our memory. As Chief Justice, His Lordship also gave thoughtful attention to the administration of justice. He emphasized discipline, efficiency, and cooperation while ensuring that fairness was never compromised. His interaction with the bar, the registry, and the subordinate judiciary fostered an atmosphere of mutual respect and shared responsibility. We also got a senior advocates lounge and a lady advocates lounge and a creche. All these are not only a momentous and small incidents, these are momentous decisions and going to affect the sentiments of the bar for all times to come. The bar found in his lordship a Chief Justice who was courteous, patient, and balanced. Young advocates felt encouraged while seniors valued his wisdom and dignity. The registry experienced a humane and respectful approach, reinforcing institutional harmony. In our tradition, an ideal judge is one who does not deviate from righteousness due to fear, favor, affection, or pressure. His lordship lived this ideal throughout his judicial career. One who never abandons the faith of justice, regardless of circumstances, truly becomes the living embodiment of justice. His lordship stands as such an embodiment. As his lordship steps away from the bench, the High Court of Jharkhand stands enriched by his presence, strengthened by his leadership, and inspired by his values. On behalf of the state of Jharkhand, I express our sincere gratitude for his service, guidance, and devotion of justice. We wish his lordship's good health, peace, and fulfillment in the years ahead. With these words, we bid farewell to a distinguished Chief Justice, and wish him a future filled with dignity and grace. Thank you, my lords.
Now I request Sri Prashant Pallav, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, to commence his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Tralok Singh Chauhan, Honorable the companion judges, the better half of the honorable judges, family members of Honorable the Chief Justice, Learned Advocate General, Chairman Bar Council, President Advocate Association, Learned Senior Advocates and my fellow advocates, Learned Registrar General, and other members of Registry. A very good afternoon to all of you. Today, we gather here with mixed emotion to bid farewell to a remarkable judge, a distinguished scholar of law, and above all, a humble and compassionate human being, Honorable Justice Tralok Singh Chauhan, as he steps into a new chapter of life after decades of exemplary service to bar and bench. Born on 9th of January 1964 in Tehsil Rohru, Justice Chauhan did his schooling from Bishop Cotton School, Simla graduation from DAV College, Chandigarh, and law from Punjab University, Chandigarh. My lord started his practice as advocate in High Court of Himachal Pradesh. With sharp understanding of law and hard labor, my lord in short span of time shaped his illustrious career as an advocate practicing in all branches of law. As an advocate, my lord was appointed as amicus in many important cases. He worked as amicus in cases involving breach of fundamental environmental laws, in hydel projects, ropeway, ban of plastic and tobacco products, implementation of solid waste management projects, and framing of road construction policy in Himachal Pradesh. My Lord Justice Chauhan, in his peak of practice, took decision to accept the offer of justice, which normally remains a tough decision for a successful advocate. My Lord was elevated as additional judge of Honorable High Court of Himachal Pradesh on 23rd February 2014, took oath as permanent judge of Honorable High Court of Himachal Pradesh on 30th November 2014. My Lord, as a judge, always had a sense of responsibility towards the society at large. My Lord did tremendous work with keen interest for the welfare and interest of children of Bal Balika ashrams, Himachal hospitals for mental health and rehab, Simla and old age homes of Himachal Pradesh. After assuming the office of Chief Justice of High Court of Jharkhand, my Lord took cognizance of socio-economic and environmental mishappening affecting society at large, particularly the marginalized class. That's how my Lord led division bench, initiated suo motu public interest litigation touching the issues of single-use plastic to setting up of solid waste management plant in densely populated area, quality management in Bal Sudhar Grih and compliance of Juvenile Justice Act. My Lord's initiative to ensure protection to individual falling victim to cyber offense, and it goes to my Lord's credit that Ministry of Home Government of India notified on 25/2/1/2026 a standard operating procedure to prevent and protect the victim of cyber fraud. This will benefit the citizen across the country. Your achievement list cited by me is merely illustrative. The welfare of the bar is always in my Lord's mind. My Lord made young members of the bar as amicus in public interest litigation to ensure that young minds are nurtured and made sensitive towards the social cause. My Lord was one of the out of 3 High Court judges who participated in the International Learning Exchange Program with focus on the reform of care and protection services for children, held in Romania with effect from 13th to 17th of May 2019. His Lordship is the first judge of this High Court to have participated in any such international conference held abroad. The legal acumen of your Lordship is imbibed in several judicial pronouncements where your Lordships have settled complex and perplexed legal issues, shaping the judicial landscape, the impact of which will echo in the corridors of the institution, inspiring the stakeholders involved in the field of law and justice, and infusing confidence amongst the litigant in this temple of justice. My Lord remained firm in his decision in interest of justice and gave clear messages through his decision that no one is above law. The constitutional mandate, equality before law, which at times gets eclipsed while enforcing law selectively. My Lord, by his judgment, made it clear that law as a tool of justice will apply equally. The best example would perhaps be the removal of year-old encroachment around the premises of RIMS, Ranchi, and in doing so, we have experienced that wrongdoer, irrespective of their clout in the power structure, faced the same consequence. Your Lordships has set a precedent that will keep igniting the minds of advocates and judges. Your unwavering commitment to fairness, justice, and constitutional value has enriched the jurisprudence and strengthened public faith in the judiciary. Beyond your judgment, what we admire most about Justice Chauhan is his patience and warmth that he maintains in the courtroom. Whether dealing with lawyers, litigants, or colleagues on the bench, you always exhibited kindness, wisdom, and open mind. Your deep understanding of human value, coupled with vast knowledge, makes you a role model for many. And that I am reminded of a Sanskrit slok, Namanti Falino Vriksha, Namanti Gunino Jana. My Lord, we find this virtue in you, that you are so humble, and with all humility you address the bar. This is a great virtue in you. Superannuation, however, is but a new chapter. While we will miss your Lordship's presence in court, we are certain that your wisdom will continue to illuminate the legal community through ADR mechanism, lectures and mentorships that will keep on inspiring the lawyers. I, for myself, and on behalf of the entire Office of Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, extend my deepest gratitude to your Lordship for your tireless service to the institution. May this new phase of life bring you joy and fulfillment. May the Almighty bestow you with all happiness, prosperity, and good health in times to come. Bidding farewell is always a painful act, my lord, and I am reminded of the famous poem of Sumitranandan Pant, "Ya सांझ उषा का आंगन आलिंगन विरह मिलन का चिरहास अश्रु में आनंद रे यह मानव जीवन का." As we bid farewell to your Lordship from the bench, we do so with admiration, respect, and a profound sense of gratitude. Thank you, my lord. I bow down before my lord.
May I request my Lord Honorable the Chief Justice, High Court of Jharkhand, Ranchi, to address on this occasion.
My esteemed brothers and sister judges and their respective family members, including my family members, Mr. Rajiv Ranjan, Learned Advocate General, and his team of advocates, Mr. Prashant Pallav, Learned Additional Solicitor General of India, and his team, Mr. Rajendra Krishna, Chairman, Jharkhand State Bar Council, Mrs. Ritu Kumar, President, Advocates Association, and other office bearers, Learned Registrar General and other registrars, learned senior advocates and other learned advocates, my long-term time friend from Shimla, Mr. Bimal Gupta, senior advocate, my esteemed father-in-law, Shri Gurdev Singh Bindra, my brother-in-law, Charandeep Singh, my bhabhi, Ms. Manmeet Bindra, my official staff who have traveled all the way from Himachal, Mr. Anil, Mr. Rajkiran, Mr. Kablesh, their respective families, other officers, and staff of this High Court, ladies and gentlemen. As I stand before you today, words feel almost too small to carry the depth of emotion I feel. The generous tributes and affectionate words shared have touched me deeply, and I receive them with full heart and profound humility. As I reflect upon my tenure as Chief Justice, I do so with an assurance that I have endeavored to discharge my duties strictly in accordance with my oath I solemnly undertook to uphold the Constitution of India, to act without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and to do justice to all manner of people. The oath was not ceremonial. It was a daily commitment, a constant reminder that judicial authority is a sacred trust. I may not claim any infallibility, for judges are human, and the law itself evolves through dialogue and correction. Yet I do affirm that every decision was taken independently, guided solely by law, reason, and conscience, uninfluenced by extraneous considerations. If during my stewardship the institutional confidence in this court has been preserved, I consider my mission fulfilled. As I lay down the office of the Chief Justice of the High Court of Jharkhand, I do so with humility in spirit, gratitude in heart, and contentment of conscience. The privilege of serving this august institution has been the highest honor of my professional life, and the responsibility that accompanied it was borne with reverence, restraint, and unwavering fidelity of constitutional duty. This moment marks not just the end of a career, it marks the closing of a chapter written with dedication, sacrifice, challenges, and grace. What makes a man before he becomes a judge are the circumstances. It is what you see and endure in your life that will shape you as to what kind of a human being you will be. Let me just introduce myself that I was born in a very remote area. The other day one person asked that please tell the youngsters when did you get electricity in your home. So I said that I'd done my matriculation, I'd passed my ICSE when I saw electricity for the first time in my home. We had no potable drinking water, no modes of transportation, much less toilets in our house also. But thankfully, my father had this vision that education was the most important tool which could make or break anyone in this society. My father was just barely 8th pass from a village school, while my mother is unread. But they're not illiterate. They gave me and my two elder siblings the best of education, despite not knowing what kind of education that was. My elder sister studied in one of the most prestigious schools of Himachal, the Auckland House School. And my elder brother and me, we are both the products of Bishop Cotton School. At the time when he sent my elder sister to school, education for the girl child was unknown, even in government institutions or government schools. It was his foresight that all of us got educated. Having seen these hardships, made me understand, or I can't boast about it, but I tried to understand what the problems at the grassroots level were. And since this place is nothing more different than Himachal, probably I could relate to it far better than, I don't offend, but I could always say far better than the honorable judges who come from the urban setup. We need to understand that there has to be much more representation to judges belonging to the rural areas who have a connect with the people as they represent the masses, as more than, I think even till now, it's 70% of the population resides in the rural areas. There has to be a connect. In order to understand the problem, we need to understand the conditions under which they live. We don't hesitate, call the person tomorrow, call the person day after, tell him to be present out here. Little realizing that the mode and manner of transportation the person may have. Every day you see there will be an image in the newspaper where the sick and infirmed are being carried on the charpais to the hospital. We are comfortable at the urban setups without realizing what we have in the rural areas. Having said so, I think it's a time for Thanksgiving, and on top of the list is always the Almighty. I thank the Almighty for giving me this occasion, this opportunity to serve the people, which I can definitely say by swearing to God that I did it in accordance with my oath, which I took nearly 12 years back. Nothing is possible in life if you do not have the support of your family. My parents, my brother and sister, they have always been supportive of me in my formidable years, which shaped me till the stage of when I became a lawyer. Then you become a child again, and who takes care of you? It's always your lovely wife. In my case, let me tell you, because I was struggling first generation lawyer, she single-handedly brought up my two daughters, lovely daughters here. Never ever made me miss, or even the children miss that I probably was not there when they needed me most. Not many sacrifices have been made, but they're worth the sacrifice because the last laugh should be the loudest laugh. God has been kind to me to have such a lovely wife and my two lovely daughters. My daughters have been my greatest blessings and my finest teachers. Through their sensitivity, clarity of thought, fearless engagement, my perspective of life has changed. And probably that is one of the reasons that I've always tried to be sensitive to the girl child. When I found that there was no crèche in this court, I was reminded of the days when I was struggling as an advocate and we had no crutches during that time. The same thought comes in when I realize that even though the lady advocates do have a common room, but those are not equipped with toilets. There are no feeding rooms. Most institution can boast of its being complete without there being respect for the ladies and the elders. The senior advocates with whose blessings we all are out here, who continue to be guides throughout our lives, they also did require something where they could get some privacy, where they could say that the institution has respected them and rewarded them for the commitment and dedication to the work of this court. In fact, when they came, I remember a delegation came of the senior advocates, and I was quite shocked that they didn't have a bar room, though we had such a huge building spread over nearly 76 acres, but no space for the senior advocates and the lady advocates. No institution can flourish if there is no respect for seniors. So I thought it to be my primary duty that before I demit office, I must at least, the least I can do is to provide, you call it common room, we call it something different. But at the end of the day, it's an accommodation for the senior advocates, the lady members. I'll be failing in my duty if I do not place on record my profound and heartfelt gratitude to my esteemed brother and sister judges. The office of the Chief Justice is not sustained by authority alone, but it's the collective wisdom and cooperation of all the colleagues that helps one to discharge the duties of the Chief Justice. There has to be mutual respect, a shared commitment. Then and then alone would the institution thrive. The bar always has wise men and women. It does not take a second to understand whether the institution is thriving or it's being doomed. The same is reflective in the conduct of each one of us. If we are united, the bar knows it that the bench is united. For me, I've been extremely fortunate and lucky that majority of the decisions we took on the administrative side out here were unanimous. Dissent has been respected. There has never been an occasion where we had our differences, and I'm very thankful to each one of my colleagues for having embraced me and my family out here and given us this comfort level. I'm truly overwhelmed and overjoyed by the presence of my dear friend and colleague of 25 years, Mr. Vimal Gupta, who has traveled all the way from Shimla. Mind you, these 2 days were the money-minting days for the advocates, because Himachal High Court closes down tomorrow on 9th of January, because being the last Friday, the second Friday, and it closes for 6 weeks. So, you know what is the importance when the court is going to close. I'm really thankful to him for having traveled all the way. I'm equally overwhelmed and acknowledge with grace and humility the presence of my official staff from Himachal. They've come here with their families. These are not what we call loyalty or anything. It is the deep respect and mutual admiration that has led them out here. I acknowledge with grace Mr. Anil is there, Mr. Raj Kiran is there, Mr. Kamlesh is there. They've traveled along with their families to be out here. I am truly honored and blessed. I express my sincere appreciation to the learning members of the bar, which is very vigilant, independent, and erudite. The level of assistance is par excellence out here. I acknowledge with deep respect the invaluable contribution of the learned senior advocates. Their experience in advocacy has greatly enriched the quality of justice in this court. I appreciate their role in upholding the finest traditions of the profession and strengthening the administration of justice. I would like to make a special mention of the lady advocates whose growing presence, professional excellence and perseverance has added strength and sensitivity to the bar. I think now it's pan-India that we are having more lady judicial officers at the entry level than the boys. So the boys now need to pull up their socks and compete with them, or else they would be out now. I would like to share a word with the young members of the bar. Please remember the legal profession is a noble calling and demands not only knowledge and skill, but also integrity, patience, and above all, humility. Let your learning be continuous, your preparation thorough, and your conduct fair. Remember always that the law is ultimately in the service of justice and humility. I wish each one of you success in your professional journey and hope you carry forward the finest traditions of the bar with dedication and dignity. I also must acknowledge with gratitude the service rendered by the officers and the officials of the registry of this court, the court masters, the personal secretaries, the judicial and administrative officers, the medical and other protocols, the support staff, because their professionalism, discipline, and courtesy ensured that the institution functioned with order and dignity. And it is only then alone that I was able to discharge my duties with focus and confidence. I have always believed that the judge's work is only as effective as the collective effort and support it enjoys. Lastly, I would like to place on record my sincere appreciation for the staff deputed in my official residence, including my drivers, security personnel, whose quiet dedication, discipline, and constant vigilance ensured comfort and safety for me and my family. Their services, often rendered beyond the call of duty, is deeply valued and will always be remembered with gratitude. As I take leave of this exalted office, my faith in future of the High Court of Jharkhand remains unwavering. This court will continue to stand as a sentinel of constitutional governance, fearless in independence, measured in authority, and unwavering in its commitment to the justice. I'm quite sure with the so many competent, honorable judges, the judiciary is in safe hands. I step away from the bench with no sense of loss, only a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to serve, for the companionship of distinguished colleagues, and for the privilege of having contributed, however modestly, to the enduring edifice of justice. With humility and folded hands, I thank you all. Jai Hind.
My Lord, Honorable the Chief Justice, may I have the permission to conclude the full court farewell reference? The full court farewell reference proceedings stands concluded.
Thank you once again.
My lords.